So in this video I'll teach you how to set up and optimize your Upwork profile to attract more customers, especially if you are new to this platform. But first, as a little bit of a background, I first came across this platform in 2017. I was working at the University of Edinburgh at the time, and I began to think of moving online and perhaps setting up my own business. So I started to experiment with different ways to earn money online. At that time, however, I did not really pay attention to setting up my profile properly, so I just filled in the required fields, and needless to say, I did not earn much in that year. And the same thing happened in 2018, but towards the end of the year, I was lucky enough to secure a couple of really nice jobs on Upwork. So this is when I started to think that maybe I should treat this platform a little bit more seriously. So I completely redesigned and refreshed my Upwork profile at the beginning of 2019, and as a result I earned almost $40,000 in that year in a niche that is very specific, very narrow, and not so popular. So this is important. My niche and the business I set up at that time is now called qualitative researcher. So the niche is all about very academic things about data analysis and qualitative research. So I'm aware that in some fields, in some areas, of course, you can earn way more. You can earn, and I know people who earn up to $100,000 a year on Upwork. But again, as I said, in this niche, I do consider what I earned to be success, because again, it's not very popular. So this is just to say that, and I'll say that again in this video, regardless of what your niche is, it may be very narrow and very focused. If you become a champion of that one niche, you can still earn a lot of money on Upwork. So as I said, patience really did pay off for me, and I do realize that some of you may be reluctant and may not be convinced about Upwork. But what I want to encourage you to do is to really pay attention to your profile and then make the decision whether you want to stay on that platform or not. Because if your profile is incomplete, just like mine was, you simply won't get the idea of whether it is worth considering Upwork as your career or not. So first things first, as I said, it is absolutely crucial and essential that you do complete the full profile on Upwork. Now again, I know this feeling. I know when you start on a new platform, you have all these fields to fill in and you're not even sure if you want to stay there for good. So you don't feel like filling in all these required or not required or optional fields. But here is absolutely crucial. So I'm talking about, for example, the fields of education and previous work experience. Now, regardless of whether you were educated in that particular field or niche that you're now operating in, you still need to fill these fields in. So sometimes your education may not be very relevant to what you do, but I still do encourage you to fill that in, because although I know that lots of clients tend to omit this section, to ignore this section, I know that some don't. And for example, to me, if I'm looking for a person, a freelancer, to outsource some of my work, I still like to see a complete profile. To be honest, I don't really pay attention to their education, to what exactly they did, but it just strikes me as it just puts me off if I see a profile that is incomplete, because straight away I generate this feeling that this person doesn't even treat this seriously, because they didn't even take time to fill every field in. So as I said, some of that education or work experience may not really be relevant, and that's okay, because quite often you decide to do something that was not so obvious in your education. This is the case with me again. I did not do a PhD in research methods. I just did a PhD. I learned research methods. I learned about qualitative data analysis, and this is what I decided to do in my career. So my previous education does not really specify that I was educated particularly in what I'm charging people for on Upwork. But still, as I said, is important. But then also think about any other relevant education or training or certificates or anything that you can put there, because this section is quite flexible. So you're free to put there whatever you want. So What I mean is that you don't have these options that you have to select from. You can type the name of the institution or whatever. So sometimes it may be a course that you completed, it may be some additional training. It doesn't have to be a higher degree in what you're doing. So just think about anything that can be relevant to what you're doing, and the same about your previous work. It doesn't have to be the position that is 100% relevant, but perhaps there is some relevance, and you can also explain it in your description, in your profile, why you put it there and what you learned in that job. So the next thing, and I know that most people mention this as well in their videos, but this is simply because it's so important to put a nice high quality picture of you in your profile picture. So one thing is that it should be you, not some kind of a business logo or something. To be honest, I'm not even sure whether Upwork allows you to do it, to put some other picture than of yourself, but it is very important that there is a clear, nice, professional looking picture of yourself. Or maybe not professional in the sense that it has to be stiff, or you wearing a suit. This will depend on what you're doing. Maybe you are a creative person, so whatever kind of identity you want to project and whatever you want your clients to think of you, this is your chance, your very first chance, because the first thing that you see is the freelancer's profile picture. And the next thing is a profile video. Upwork does give you this option to record a profile video, and I know that many people won't even watch it, and also some of them, I mean your clients, they won't even know that it's there, because your video is going to be at the very bottom of your profile. But then again, there are some people who will watch it. There are some people who will make the decision of whether they want to collaborate with you based on that video. And now I know it can be quite overwhelming, and you may be anxious about having to record this video, because obviously not everybody is used to recording themselves. But I recommend that you do some practice. You can record it with your phone. Nowadays the quality of videos recorded with phones is amazing, so just do a little bit of practice, and it can be 30 seconds literally. But why it is so important to record this video and also to take that good picture of you that I mentioned is simply because Upwork is about money. Obviously people are going to pay you money, and it is easier to pay somebody even though it's not your friend, they don't personally know you, but at least they had a chance to to look at you, what kind of person you seem to be. So this is very important. It does create a kind of a bond already, a feeling, a sense of familiarity, so they feel like they kind of know you a little bit, and maybe that a little bit is a little bit more than that other person that did not record that video. In my videos in which I explain how to write a cover letter, how to talk to your customers, how to make sure that you win jobs, you'll see that I will talk quite a lot about the psychological aspect. Perhaps this is also because of my background, my interest at the university. But I do think it's very important on Upwork too. So this is the first step, like I said, to create this kind of a bond, and this is how it works. So do take your time to record a video in which you briefly go through who you are maybe and what you offer, because the main part will be the description. So you do not have to cover every single part from your description in your video. This may be an additional opportunity for you to present yourself to the potential client on Upwork. Now you have to decide on your hourly rate, and I know this aspect, this issue gives a lot of headache to many people, including me, but especially to those who are just beginning on this platform. So basically the dilemma seems to be, should I charge a lot if I don't really have any experience on Upwork? I don't have any reviews, I don't have any feedback. Should I charge a lot, or should I charge much less than the experienced competition so that I attract customers? And to this I would recommend not charging less at all. And there are several reasons that I will explain. So firstly, I don't know if you've ever paid anyone, any freelancer to do any work for you, but I have a lot. I used both Upwork and I use Fiverr a lot for little gigs or some editing or some graphic stuff that I don't know how to do. And when I see a freelancer who charges way less than other freelancers in this particular niche or field, this usually puts me off. So I don't really feel convinced to pay money to this freelancer because I don't think that he or she values himself or herself for what they are doing. So I just have this feeling that when the price is too low, I don't really feel like I can trust this person, because if you are qualified or if you are skilled in a particular field, you usually know your value and you're not going to go beyond that value. So this is the main reason I do not think you should charge less than the more experienced competitors on Upwork, even if you are a beginner. The second reason you should not undercharge relates simply to what you will actually earn for whatever you do on this platform. And here I mean two things. So the first thing is, as you may be aware, Upwork will charge 20% on each of the jobs you're doing. This commission changes later, so after the first $500, I believe, with a single customer, this becomes 15%, and I think after either 1,000 or 5,000, I can't remember, I think it becomes 5%. You have to check it, but as a starting point, and especially when you are beginning on Upwork, you are more likely to secure these little jobs that are usually around, up to 500. So initially they will charge you 20% for whatever you earned. And then if you are really thinking about seriously thinking about a career as a freelancer, somebody who will be working for yourself, then you also have to consider that, of course, at the end of the year you will be required to fill in your self-assessment, in which again you will have to pay some of the taxes back. So in the UK, for example, the threshold is from 10,000, if you earn 10,000 pounds in a year, up to 40,000 pounds. This tax that you have to pay back is 20% as well. So again, this is another 20% from what you earn. So you're earning something on Upwork, Upwork charges 20%, and then the rest is yours, but it's not really yours, because then again you have to pay 20% from that to the government, essentially. So what happens as a result? You pay 40% more or less. This is a simplification, but you have to pay 40% of what you earned back. So this is the reason you should never undercharge. Some people recommend that you should think of what you would like to earn and multiply this number by 2 or 3. And I actually like this way of thinking. So this is what I did for my when I was thinking about how much I should charge. I thought about what I was earning at the university, and I multiplied this number by 2, not 3, because I did have a feeling that too high a rate is also something that may be a little bit off-putting. And now the title of your profile. So this is obviously the first thing that stands out when maybe apart from your profile picture, when people are searching for freelancers on Upwork. And this is why this is so important. And the second reason your title is extremely important is simply because Upwork also has this search engine optimization thing. So depending on what you put in your title, you will be higher or lower in the whole list of freelancers that the potential customer sees when they type in a certain phrase. So the first thing here that you need to think about is, what is your potential client or your potential employee? Although I don't like this phrase, I prefer to perceive myself as a person that has clients, not an employee on Upwork. But I'll talk about this later in another video. But first, think about what they will be typing in, what will they be searching for. So and what kind of searches do you want to be found. So here I mean specific phrases from your niche, from your field. So try to be specific rather than broad and general. So for example, if you look at my profile, I advertise myself as qualitative research, qualitative data analysis, and NVivo specialist. So basically what I do mostly is analyzing people's data sets. So they have qualitative research data sets, which is just a kind of one of two main kinds of research, qualitative research. And then NVivo is by far the most popular software for qualitative data analysis. Many people don't know how to use it, or they are just reluctant to use it and anxious to use it. So this is one of my, well, so to speak, selling points. I'm proficient in that software and I analyze people's data sets. So although I do some consulting as well and some other types of jobs, but this is the majority of what I do. This is the majority of what I earn my money for. So I thought about this, and I thought about what kind of jobs do I prefer, and I thought I definitely prefer these data analysis jobs. They are something I enjoy. They are the clients are paying well, and this is just something I'm very confident in, because this is what I was doing when being employed by universities as well. So I worked a lot on research. So at that time I thought about the possible keywords and key phrases that a client may be typing in that search box. So I thought about myself and how I would look for a freelancer who would help me analyze my data. So of course, qualitative data analysis was one thing, the main important thing, because it refers to this kind of data that I work with. And then NVivo is the other, because again, as I said, usually if we want our data analyzed, qualitative data analyzed, we want it to be analyzed in NVivo. So it was quite obvious to me to use these phrases. And then I use qualitative research as well. Again, it may sound broad, because within that there is lots of different things and considerations and research design and methods and all that. But at the same time, it's quite specific, because like I said, qualitative research is already a very specific type of research. So within that, I decided that I can get some tutoring jobs, and occasionally I get some editing jobs, or to assess somebody's chapter, research proposal. So all of that is incorporated in that qualitative research part of my title. But then the specific jobs and the one that I prefer are the data analysis and NVivo. So I recommend that you do the same for whatever niche you are operating in. So try to be quite specific, not broad. So if I'm sure I don't know much about other fields, but I'm sure in every field, in every niche, in everything that you may decide to do, there are some specific sub-fields. So for example, rather than saying web development, which is a very general thing, think about what it is that you wish to do for money, or what it is that your clients specifically will be looking for. They will know what they are looking for. So whether there is the programming language or whatever, or PHP I believe it's called, but sorry if it's not true, or search engine optimization. So something specific that a client may need. So the reason they came here, not just to look for general web development. Although, as I said, I may be wrong. Maybe web development as such is something that is quite often looked for. I'm not sure, but I don't think this is the case. But this is just an example, and I'm sure that you get it. So again, if you're a graphic designer, perhaps you specialize in a given software, perhaps you specialize in particular kind of graphics for a particular kind of use. So whatever it is, try to specify that in your title. Call yourself an expert, perhaps, or experienced, a designer in that, or another field. So I would also recommend adding this little word. So being a little bit creative. Thinking about how you want to position yourself. What is, again, your identity that you are projecting? And I'm sure you want to project this identity of being an expert, a champion. So this is very important. As I said before, you want to become a champion of that little sub niche, and you want to become a go-to person for that particular thing. So you don't want to be perceived as, you know, just jack of all trades and somebody that claims to know everything, but in reality they don't specialize in that one particular field. And as I said, apart from what your clients are looking for, the reason your title is so important is because of the search engine on Upwork. So for me, redesigning my title, for example, resulted in me being somewhere in, I think, third or fourth page of results when I type in qualitative research or other phrases related to what I do, to being put on the first page. And in some keywords and some key phrases, most of the ones that I'm interested in, I'm actually the first profile on Upwork. But importantly, this is not just because of my title, this is also because of my description. And when thinking about your description, and this is obviously a crucial part of your profile, again, apart from thinking about the client and what they need and what they want, you also want to think about this search engine optimization. So whatever the key phrases are, whatever the keywords are that you can imagine your clients type in when they're looking for a specialist, you have to make sure that they are there in the description, ideally more than once. Of course, you don't want to make this artificial, so make it, you know, natural. Try to incorporate these words in a natural way, but please do remember about this, because this also made a huge difference in my experience and in my profile as I started to add these words to the profile. And as I said, you have to be reasonable, but to give you an example from my profile, when I was redoing and redesigning the profile and decided to use these keywords, I did not just throw them there without any purpose, or, you know, without thinking of how they actually fit and match my description. I just upgraded my current description. So for example, before that, when I assumed that everybody knows I'm talking about qualitative research, because of course my profile says qualitative research, I'm advertising myself as a qualitative researcher. So in my description, I did not use that word a lot. So I talked about, for example, research methods, and I said I specialized in research methods and data analysis. Simply because we were used at school, we were taught that we should avoid repetition. But later on, what I did, I just kept using that word, that phrase, qualitative. So, but then when I redesigned the profile, I just kept saying I specialize in qualitative research methods, qualitative data analysis. Then I thought about all the other possible things within that topic of qualitative data analysis that people may be searching for. A very popular term is thematic analysis when you analyze your data, so I used that several times. So this is what I mean when you think about your profile description from the perspective of that search engine. But the first thing, the most important thing, of course, in your description is to think about your client. So think about how you can help them. And again, just imagine being this person looking for a specialist and what they're looking for, what kind of information. So here I have several tips regarding the content of your actual description. So the first tip, and this is an error to avoid, and many people make this mistake especially when they start on this platform. Do not ever start your description with something like, "Hi, my name is blah blah blah, and I graduated in 2018, and I thought, and this is where I became passionate about this or that." So why should you avoid this? You may think and feel like this is something important, this communicates your personality, and I totally understand that. But on Upwork, the problem is when you scroll, as you can see now on your screen, when you scroll through the different Upwork profiles, the freelancers profiles, you only see the first couple of lines. So after you've searched for, let's say, qualitative research specialists like me, what you see when you start scrolling through the whole list of freelancers are the first couple of lines of each profile. What really attracts your attention is something specific. So when you see something that you want to see, I do data analysis, I do thematic analysis, or I will do your data analysis in 1 week, or to the highest level, highest standard, whatever it is you're looking for, but something specific always helps. If you see, hi, my name is Tom, and I became passionate in, and then you can't see anything else, chances are, if you're in a hurry, you're not gonna risk looking at Tom's profile and finding out about his passion if maybe he doesn't know what he's doing, maybe he doesn't deliver what you're looking for. So always try to start with something very specific that you think your clients will look for. Many people recommend starting with the actual things that you can do for them. I personally, because of the nature of my niche, I decided that for many people it is important to know that I am qualified to do this. And I want to stress here again, and I will in many of my other videos in this channel, qualifications are not everything. That's by any means, this is not true. But here in this field, and what I chose to do, I'm lucky enough to have qualifications. So of course I want to highlight them, and I know that the kind of clients that I get, it's very important for them to know that I am qualified to do this, simply because it's a very academic, very complex thing to do. So I decided to start briefly with saying what universities I worked for, and then moving on to what I offer. And after that I come back to who I am. So again, where I graduated, what kind of work I have done in the past. But because I believed that initially I want to communicate that I am this professional, you can trust me because I've worked in these top universities, this is what I started with, and then I list everything I can do for them, everything I specialize in. So basically your description should be quite specific and to the point. Hopefully you have something to highlight. Maybe if you're a beginner, maybe you have experience but only online, so not your typical work experience. Try to think of whatever is relevant, whatever communicates your competence. So it doesn't always have to be 20 years of experience, and to be honest, having 20 years of experience is by no means something that wins you the job, because you still have to be specific and explain what you can do for this customer. So not just having 20 years of experience, it guarantees nothing at all. So it's better to be specific, and of course if you do have this 20 years of experience, do mention that. But what is more important is what exactly you do and what you did for other people, what you did and what was the result. This is very important. And this is actually a rule that is usually taught when you teach university students how to write their cover letters for academic jobs. So demonstrate what the problem was, what you did, and what was the result. This is a very simple model. It's not always possible, but think whether some of your past achievements, whether you can present in this way. So what was the problem, what you did, and what was the result. So for example, if you're a student, you can say, if you conducted some kind of research, you can say, the problem was that, there is this area that is not researched. What you did, you put up this proposal for a research study, you organized an internal team at your university, and then what was the result? You attracted funding, or you attracted 10,000 of funding to the university to conduct your research. So here you go, and within that you have so many skills that you can project, whether directly or indirectly. So you're obviously a person that knows how to manage teams and manage people. You're a good communicator. You are proactive. So this is just to give you an example how this works. Of course, your field will probably be different, but within your field also think about some achievements. So if you did not work for Sony or some big company or film company, it's okay. If you have some smaller projects that you completed, it's always possible to present them in a nice and attractive way to your potential client. So maybe you worked on a website, maybe you helped somebody increase their searchability of their website, maybe you helped somebody with their social media profile, and as a result, remember to talk about the result, Today they have 5,000 followers. They did not have any. So think about these kinds of projects as well. If there are any projects like that, don't go into too much detail, but do mention these projects. Do mention the problem that existed and your solution and the result of that action. So generally you want your future client to understand what this guy will help me do. What has this guy achieved in the past? So of course we all like real life examples. So if you give them specific examples, it's just easier for them to imagine whether you are the right person to reach out to. And finally, the last chance to highlight your achievements or your personality is the portfolio. In some niches it's more difficult to have this portfolio, in some it's easier. So of course if you are into, again, some kind of graphic design or editing, you definitely want to put that work there. You definitely want your clients to see your previous work, so never ignore that portfolio section. But I think it's quite obvious. I don't really have to convince you about that if you are in this kind of industry. But what I want you to pay attention to is, if you are not in this type of industry, still think about what you can do, what you can put in that portfolio. Again, for me it was quite demanding because of confidentiality issues. I cannot simply share my clients' data and show my future clients, here is what I did. But I still used my portfolio to highlight some of the things. I highlighted that I that I am an NVivo expert. I developed these self-study courses because this is what I do. So again, this software, data analysis software that I mentioned, I also develop courses and sell them online. So here, to show them that I do know what I'm talking about, I do know about the software, here, have a look. I have this best-selling online course. So this is one of the items in my portfolio, and the other item is one of my publications. So because again, my clients are often academic, they want me to either, well, generally do academic work, but what I also do is writing a report, academic report of my data analysis. So they want to know whether I have these academic skills. So obviously it's a good thing to put there, my publication, because it's a demonstration of my academic writing skills and also some of the data analysis skills. So this is what I chose for my portfolio, but you can choose anything. You can put your link to your YouTube channel, your Facebook page, your blog, or anything else. It's just use it as an additional opportunity to show the world, to show your clients who you are and what you do, what you have done, what you can do. So just think carefully about what is it that you want to tell them, and you cannot say that or describe that effectively in the description or in the title, and then put this thing in your portfolio. If you like this content, if you enjoyed this video and learned something new, please smash the like button. It will help me get found, help the video get found on YouTube. And also consider subscribing to this channel, which is all about helping you turn your knowledge into profit, whether you are a student or not. So basically about building your brand online. This is what I did with my qualitative research business, so that I could completely leave academia and work as a freelancer full-time.